This is USfanTV. It's Tuesday night. Chris is in bed. And if you're a regular viewer of this show, you know that when Chris does things from beds on this show, typically there's terrible production problems.
No one knows it's going to happen. Could be anything.
I can see you and I can hear you. So
we're already better than the last time I did this from my bedroom.
We're batting 1,000.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no crazy background tonight because there's a new wall in my basement where my display was, so I have to get all that fixed and painted before I can put anything back up. I tried to tack scarves up to rafters in my basement, but I didn't have enough tacks, so I gave it up.
I think this will work. I think you're all right. You know who else was all right today? Look at that segue. That's professional right there. Timmy Chandler, this is apparently the same guy who plays for us a few times a year.
Allegedly.
And this is a DFB Pokal game, which I'm sure we're pronouncing wrong. It's the German Cup competition. So today's game was Borussia Mönchengladbach against Eintracht Frankfurt. Fabian didn't play because he's still hurt, allegedly. But Timmy Chandler did play. He went 120, played through pain a couple of times, picked up a couple of knocks, had the assist because the game was 1-1, and then they won in penalties. So they're going to the final of the competition where they might play Borussia Dortmund. They play Bayern Munich tomorrow. That's a loaded semifinal. And of course, if Borussia Dortmund gets through there, we were hoping Pulisic starts there. We'd have a Timmy Chandler versus Christian Pulisic final. Everybody's favorite U.S. player against everybody's least favorite U.S. player in the cup final of the German Cup. That'd be pretty fun to see. But I mean, Timmy Chandler, we got to talk about him because, again, incredible in Germany. Why doesn't he do this for us?
Terrible in a U.S. shirt. Yeah. I think he probably doesn't care. I think everything we've kind of always feared about him is probably the truth. That's my big guess.
Yeah, it seems that way, and it definitely seemed that way in that last match he played for us in Costa Rica. He just, and to be fair to him, there were clear tactical issues that had him covering a huge part of the field, and it just seemed like he said enough, and he gave up, which is, I guess on one hand you could kind of see that he was pissed with the tactics. On the other hand, especially when there's this heightened awareness of some of the German dual nationals, some of the guys taking issue with how much they actually care about playing for us. You don't want to see that. And honestly, I think he's the guy that when people like Timmy Howard were saying the Germans don't want to play for the shirt, Jermaine's fine with it.
Yeah, they weren't talking about Jermaine. And they weren't talking about Fabian. Those guys, very clear they're out there to play and play hard. They're not going to stop. One guy, not so much.
But I mean, he's clearly, we shit all over him after those last couple of games he played for us, and he's done it again. He's clearly definitely talented enough to play for us.
He plays when he wants. He plays when he wants. Timmy Chandler, he plays when he wants.
I mean, if you're not going to care, why accept the call up and fly halfway across the world to play?
It is an awful lot of effort for not a lot of return. I mean, realistically, you don't get paid so much playing for a national team that it truly makes a dent in your pocketbook for most of these guys. When you're a full-time professional and have been for a number of years, the bulk of your money's coming from your club, and it's better to play there. You're going to get endorsements there. You're going to get things from them that you probably don't get with a national team. And if nothing else, once in a while you get a break. Like you get a free kind of week and a half or whatever off that you can just rest instead of having to fly around the world, do extra training, run more risks of getting hurt so you don't go play again at your club. I don't know, but he sure doesn't seem to care when he plays for the U.S.
And the weird thing is, I seem to remember a couple of years ago, his club tried to get him to not play for us. And he still did. So, I mean, maybe our read on him is totally wrong. I would love to see this Timmy Chandler, though, the guy who, threw his heart and soul into that match today, play for us.
Although
when he plays internationally, but maybe he's not in the
there-
cards anymore anyway. So
there is one thing to be said about him. And yeah, unless as long as like Yedlin is starting, yeah, I'm not sure he's going to get a lot more chances. But what if part of the reason he wasn't looking good in the U.S. uniform was that he was playing for Klinsmann, and like a lot of guys said, we don't know what the hell we're doing with Klinsmann.
Right. Yeah.
So
that there might have been a bit of it might have been confusion, especially because it seems like when you have the way Klinsmann set up the last couple of times, when you have Jermaine covering a wide spot, Jermaine's not always going to be there. And so Timmy was covering basically the midfield spot and the right back spot, which I could see him being pissed about. It may have also been a bit of the Chelsea last season under Mourinho, where they just were, maybe Timmy was thinking, I'm going to get this dude fired because he sucks. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was pure speculation here, but I would love to see that guy play for us that way because he's great. And as for tomorrow, it's a cup game. I think you'd see Pulisic start, but maybe not.
Yeah,
I'd like to.
I would think he probably will. Yeah, because he didn't start in the Champions League games, even after, like in the second leg, even after having played so well in the first leg. But I don't know. I mean, he's such a like 12th man choice kind of that it's hard to know will they play him here or would they reserve him. I mean, I haven't looked at what their schedule is coming up to see what they do this weekend, if that game might be important enough that he would only get a run out, say in the second half or something. But yeah, I would assume in general anyway, because it's just a cup game, he'll probably get the start. But
it's a cup game against Bayern. But didn't he start when they played Bayern a couple weeks ago in the league?
Yes,
I thought he did. Yeah. So you don't.
Although that was Royce hurt that day, I think maybe.
He's always hurt. The thing with Tuchel though is he seems set on rotating. Yeah. From what I've seen, and he's going to rotate. He doesn't go to the hot hand like some other managers do, the hot foot, if you will. He seems set on rotating because he believes in rotating, and that's always struck me as, I guess, more of a good thing than a bad thing with Pulisic, because he gets eased into the craziness that that he has to play with right now as an 18-year-old. But at the same time, it's frustrating because the game's on TV tomorrow. I want to see him play. And
yeah,
every time he plays, I got to say this. In Chicago, on Comcast, we don't get Fox Sports 2. Every single time Dortmund's on Fox Sports 2, Pulisic starts. It's like, it's maddening to me. And there's still, this feud that we only get Fox Sports 1. Sometimes I see Dortmund on the Spanish channels, but I can never see Fox Sports 2 unless I illegal stream it or I pay the $20 a month for the Fox Sports Go thing that I was stealing from you for a while. So, which
I did finally shut that down.
I could tell. It made me sad. I enjoyed.
I didn't realize you were still stealing it from me when
it's been a while.
Shut it down.
It's been a while since
it went on for a few months because I kept forgetting about it. But yeah, that thing. I mean, you can say it's only $20, but at the same time, it's like $20 for such rare instances.
Yeah.
That I got it for like one game. Seeing one of the comments here, I missed something, and I'm not sure I want to get into.
I had to say, I paused at the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. The weird thing is when you watch these shows after the live stream, we'll just start talking about something in the comments, and the people must be thinking we're schizophrenic or something because we're just talking about something random all of a sudden. But it's because we see a comment and we talk about the comment. So I wish you could see the live stream
Yeah, it's unfortunate
after
that
the
those
fact.
comments don't carry over. I didn't realize for a while that that was the case, but yeah, well, maybe we'll have to do more about reading the
Ooh.
comments when we talk about them.
Hold on, Douglas is onto something here. YouTube TV, he says, has both Fox Sports 1 and 2.
Huh.
We are on YouTube.
I have heard that YouTube will also be showing the U17 game versus Mexico tomorrow. The CONCACAF YouTube TV channel.
I might have to get YouTube TV.
channel or whatever CONCACAF's channel is.
My wife works for a major television network that's owned by a major company. So I basically get cable for free. Like legally, it's part of her benefit package. So I don't like paying for TV if I can avoid it, but the YouTube TV, maybe as YouTube's biggest up and coming stars, we should get this for free.
Seems like that should be a benefit.
I mean, we have literally tens of viewers who watch this show. So sometimes even hundreds.
We have tens of viewers and we are making tens of dollars and they're not paying it to us. So they could give us something.
Yeah, BN is the CONCACAF channel. That's right, for overseas qualifying, except for the Mexico match, because I think that ESPN or Fox, one of the two, bought the rights from BN for that one particular match. And BN you can see on, if you have Verizon, you could see it on the, I think it's called Go 90 or something like that. It's an app that shows soccer for free and you don't even have to use your data, which is pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever Pulisic is on playing for Dortmund, Pulisic's starting, I look, it's on Fox Sports 2. So then I got to go track down a stream. I don't really do that, though, if you're investigating me. That's just a figure of speech or something. So, yeah, I hope he starts tomorrow. I hope he does well tomorrow. Obviously, anytime Dortmund plays Bayern, it's a big deal. And, for a shot at going to the final of the German Cup, the DFB Pokal, it'd be cool. So, and it'd be cool to see two U.S. guys score.
Deutscher Fußballbund. Yeah.
It's not bad. Sandra's gonna critique your accent there when she watches this later.
Jawohl. Speaking of Univision Deportes.
Oh God, the English speaking people on that. I watch it in Spanish. You guys are right. The English commenters are. It's awkward.
Isn't there Spanish commentators? Isn't one of them Marcelo Balboa?
I think so. Yeah.
So say I know he does it for somebody, but I can't remember who it is. Anyway, Deportes will have U.S. Mexico U17s as well tomorrow at I think it's 6:30 Eastern.
They throw a random Liga MX match up on their. They do. On their Facebook. I love it. You're just scrolling through and all of a sudden there's a match and I get stuck on it. But the one thing I hate is, the shit that flies through the screen. Like, we don't have this problem because nobody likes this show, but the stuff that flies through the screen, like the likes and stuff, it bothers me. I want that gone. So I think maybe
there's got to be a way to do that.
There's probably is. What do we know though? Jameson says, as an American Bayern fan, I hope he does well, but I hope they lose. Yeah, I know that feeling.
I am an American Bayern fan.
Yeah, we were talking about that a show or two ago when a U.S. guy plays against your club.
Can you root against him? Yeah.
It's kind of like when Michael Jordan used to go on the road in the 90s. You would hope that he scored 60 points, but the Bulls lost. That's kind of the feeling, But yeah,
we were talking about it in regards to Tim Howard, who has come out with an apology now about the interaction that caused his suspension. He doesn't directly say what happened or refer to which instance it is, but it seems pretty clear from what he's saying. He's talking about whatever happened in the tunnel, because he says something like
how were they there or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he apologized and he says, this is all my fault, I shouldn't have done this. But I also say that the Rapids, MLS, soccer organizations in general should not allow fans in the tunnel by players that close together. I have to say he's right. Now, I don't know that it's the best time to say that in an apology, but because it doesn't really make your apology sound sincere. But he's right. I mean, you know, he makes the point of, look, I don't care that people yell things at me all the time, but there shouldn't be anyone close enough that it can turn into a physical altercation. And in that regard, he's right. I mean, who knows what really happened in the tunnel? Did somebody just say something? Did they, you know, spit at him? Did they like try to touch him or whatever, and that's why he grabbed him? Or did they just like say, "Hey, fuck you," and he went and like grabbed him by the throat or something? This is all a mystery. You know, clearly he did something that earned him the suspension. So I think an apology is warranted. But yeah, I think he's right that it's true. Why should random people be in the tunnel by the players like that?
And who's confronting a guy? I mean, really, like, what?
Yeah,
like you're gonna not just any guy, but like unless he did something to you, like I can't even imagine shouting something at a guy who's right next to me, like yelling from the anonymity of the stands. It's kind of, I'm yelling more for
I like
the people
when I gang up on people. I don't like so much.
But that's more to make the people around you laugh, if anything, than they can't hear you.
Well, and I mean, part of it is then it's your role in the game, which is why I don't care. I don't agree with this idea that like it should all be family friendly and we can't say bad things. I like it when we're playing Mexico, and quite frankly, I like it that when they yell "puto." It doesn't. I agree that for, you know, nicety, whatever, they shouldn't be doing it. But I like that they're yelling offensive things because it makes the game more heated. There's a part of me that kind of likes when they were chanting Osama during our national anthem. Now, don't get me wrong, it's totally offensive. Both these things are totally offensive.
That's the point, though.
Don't get me wrong.
They're trying to offend you.
I like that they're doing it to be offensive because it just adds to the atmosphere. So in that regard, I like that, you know, people got to yell at Howard and got a response from him. They probably thought it was awesome. It was probably like when you flipped off Dirty Sanchez and he flipped you off right back, or you said "fuck you" to him or whatever. You know, there's a point to it that it only builds more atmosphere and it gives you an interaction with that player that you wouldn't otherwise have. Having said that, no, you don't go like, I don't know, physically accost them or something. I mean, I don't like John Terry, but if I saw him in public, I'd probably be like, "Yeah, you racist," or like yell terrible things at him. But I wouldn't like, I don't know, walk up to him and try to like, I don't know, shove him to the ground or something. I don't know. Who knows what they tried to do, but
would you let him on the tube? Or the metro, I guess. Yeah, Ricardo, I do speak a little bit of Spanish. Your English is probably better than my Spanish, but I practice every single day. The problem is anytime you meet a Mexican person or any Spanish-speaking person in the U.S., they immediately want to speak English with you so they can practice. Or, you know, if you're anywhere, they want to speak English with you.
Any other country.
That's the problem with being...
Goes for any foreigner.
That's the problem with being an English speaker. Everybody wants to speak to you in English, except the French, because they want to practice. But I guess the good part of being an English speaker is you can get by pretty much anywhere. So, but yeah, I think it's important to speak another language, and I like Spanish because it's particularly useful in the U.S. Yeah, oh God, I know this isn't related, but yes, Ray Hudson's call of Messi's winner was awesome. It was so great.
I don't understand the people who say that Ronaldo is the best player in the world. I'm sorry, he's not. Not even close. Like, I know how Ronaldo does the stuff he does. He's just extremely talented and like so dedicated to training. Messi, I had to watch several replays of one of his, I can't remember who he did. It was, he picked the ball up like at the base of his own circle, right in midfield, and like kind of went to his right and then like took the ball, I think flipped it over with his left over like the leg of whoever the midfielder was coming at him. I couldn't figure out at first how he did it because I was like, he was going this way. It looked like the ball was on his right foot. And I guess it was that he picked it up with his left and just brought it over. But even still, it's like, I don't know how he does some of this stuff. And then he's making like world-class defenders just kick at air. I don't remember if it was the game winner, if it was his first goal, where he had oh god, who's the Real defender with the like the kind of sideshow bob hair, small sideshow bob hair. He has him like kicking at air. Like this is a professional at this thing, and he's just like, man, here you go. I'm just gonna dribble around you.
No, the winner was the one where he came across and just cracked it with his left foot when it came to him, and then ran over and took off his shirt and held it up.
Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, the winner. Yeah, the winner. It's like when you see it in slow motion, you can see what he's seeing, and you see that, oh, there's no one there. He sees this ball's just going to come to space, and I'm just going to waltz into it and just hammer this thing. Yeah, it's the first one when he's like dribbling into the box, and he dribbles like past like three guys.
Yeah, it's Marcelo. David Luiz is the original sideshow Bob, though.
Yeah, it is Marcelo. That's who I was thinking of. Yep. Yeah, David Luiz definitely was sideshow Bob. I mean, he's right up there with oh god, now I'm the Belgian who plays for Man U.
Fellaini.
Yeah, Fellaini. But yeah, it was Marcelo who, like, Marcelo, he goes to play the ball and he ends up just kicking open air. It's ridiculous.
You can
in the box.
You can slow his highlights down sometimes and still not figure out what he did.
Oh, there've been a few. Yeah, there've been a few. I still don't know how the hell he did it.
Making Boateng fall a couple of years ago in the Champions League, just absurd. I'm really disappointed that they're not in the Champions League still. I love watching them.
Yeah.
DeAndre Yedlin is back in the Premier League.
Indeed.
Which brings up I remember back when, now we have 15 people who watch the show. Back when we had 2, we talked about, is it better to be at the top of one league or at the bottom of the other? And we said that for DeAndre, it was definitely better to be in the championship this year, getting all those good vibes and building toward this. So now, next year, assuming he's still at Newcastle and everything holds the same,
I would say he will be.
Now it's on.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do. Let's not, the thing with Newcastle is they're a big enough club that they're not going to get immediately relegated again. I don't see it happening.
Well, plus the whatever it is, 124 million pounds that they get by winning promotion.
They should be all right. I mean, I assume they hang on to Rafa as manager. I assume DeAndre stays. They should be all right, and it'll be awesome to see another guy in the Premier League. I mean, we might have, besides Jeff Cameron, if he stays put, and Lyndon Gooch will probably get relegated unless he changes teams. But who else do we have? We might have Emerson Hyndman back.
Hyndman could be back, depending on what happens with his deal. He didn't look great over the weekend for Rangers, but then again, it was pretty much like Celtics' entire defense was just lined up to stop him. So, until he learns to deal with kind of defenders who are just going to try and smash him, either he's got to strengthen his legs so he becomes like Messi, where it's like, he's got some guy literally climbing on his back and he's just kind of dribbling around them anyway, like dribbling around someone with some guy hanging on him, or he's going to have to, learn how to gracefully take fouls. So in that regard, maybe the Scottish League is a good place for him to learn that, because I think that would come in handy. But it was disappointing, I guess, to see that he did struggle. But then again, effectively the entire team was set up just to kind of stop him. So there's, some disappointment there, but that's also pretty impressive that, entire teams are just lining up to stop you. They're not looking to stop the team. They're just looking to stop you, because they know if they can stop you, that probably kills the team. So that's a pretty good indicator of what they think of you.
I know he was hurt to start the season, but he didn't play then.
He struggled because he got injured, And it was sort of like Gooch, where he had a shot and then he got hurt and he kind of lost it and he didn't get it back. Bournemouth's been big on him. They've really been, or at least according to what the like the manager and other people from the club have said, they're high on him. But unfortunately, he hasn't. It just didn't work out, and he didn't have a spot, and that was part of why they were letting him go on loan, was to get more playing time so he could get a spot back in. I would think he's done all he can. If they're not going to put him into the starting lineup, maybe he should consider going somewhere else.
Yeah, it strikes me. I know it's a big, I wouldn't say it's a monster jump from the Scottish League to the Premier League, but it's a pretty big jump. But what he's done at Rangers is, I would think, definitely good enough to get him back to
Bournemouth,
playing regularly. I would think, especially since Jack Wilshere's going to be gone, I assume. So, and if he's not going to be gone, he's going to be hurt because the dude broke his leg again. But
Jack Wilshere,
unbelievable. Will Cameron Carter-Vickers get cap-tied anytime soon? I would hope.
I think the Gold Cup. Yeah, I think it has to be. I think Gold Cup will probably be guys like him, guys like Hindman. Who are some of the others we've brought up? The one big question for me might be, who's going to be the goalkeeper in the Gold Cup? Do they give it to? Do they just like? Do they go to Guzan and just keep him going with the national team all summer long? In which case he's not getting his starting job in Atlanta, really, or he's not around to have it. Lately, David Bingham screwed up. Kind of a number of next up guys aren't looking that great. Luis Robles might be the next in line right now, because Horvath hasn't gotten a starting job yet at Club Brugge. David Bingham's had a couple of screw ups playing in MLS. Raimondo has had several, including over the weekend. A couple pretty terrible ones. So there is kind of a question of who's going to be the starting keeper in the Gold Cup. I don't know.
The Alexis Sanchez free kick on Brad Guzan wasn't all that encouraging either. It was an amazing free kick the other day. But
it was nice, but it wasn't.
He was way too far over,
and it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like it was inch perfect. It wasn't like it was like right in the corner, like bounced off the crossbar in. It was kind of far in for a goalie of his size to not be able to get to it. So that's you line things up improperly.
If TJ's watching, he's going to complain that we just complained about goalkeepers, because you cannot,
of course,
you cannot ever complain about a goalkeeper or a referee in TJ's view. So
Yarbrough, Hamid might be next up, but who the hell knows when he's not going to be injured?
He's an American now, right?
Supposedly, yeah. Yarbrough, see, the guy's prone to mistakes, but I do see a place where he could fit, especially if we are going to play out of the back. Like if we kept any of the ideals that Klinsmann came up with, Yarbrough fits into that because he is kind of a sweeper keeper. He can actually play with his feet and play pretty well with his feet. You also then have to accept, though, that may come with some big mistakes. So I don't know. He interests me. I'd kind of like to see him get a shot. I kind of hope he at least makes the Gold Cup squad. But yeah, really,
Jonathan.
So long as Howard, is healthy, I think he's number one. And I don't see him losing the spot. But yeah, when you're talking, he's 39 by the World Cup. While a 40-year-old keeper isn't unheard of, it's not what we want to happen. It's certainly not what we thought was going to happen, because we certainly would have expected that Guzan was going to be the starter by now, full-time for good. It was just unfortunate how things worked out, really at Villa and then at Middlesbrough.
Leipzig, you're right. I am bald, and I did play keeper at like 9 years old. So throw me in there. Let's see. I have a pair of gloves. Let's do it. I take free kicks off my 6-year-old every day. So, that seems like a logical step up to play for the national team.
Save them by the nuts.
Sometimes you do.
It is strange the number of bald players you'll see on the field for us now, and sometimes it's not a goalie amongst them.
John Brooks,
Bradley.
Yeah, I didn't think of Michael Bradley. I thought of John Brooks right off the bat, but not Michael Bradley. There are more. I'm sure there are more.
Oh, there are definitely more, but Bad Son is better than Wando.
Maybe.
He didn't miss in a World Cup.
No, that's true. He has not missed in a World Cup yet. The U17.
Isn't Bill Embiid meant to be decent? Yeah.
Simon, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Fair comment. The U17s. Ouch. Yeah, Simon. I left some comments on Simon's site talking about it. We had a bad penalty in the first half, a bad penalty kick. I mean, that Jamaica's goalie saved, and then it stayed 0-0 till half. I think it was like in the 50th that we got our first goal, and really until about the 80th, they still had a shot.
Douglas.
I mean, we got the second sometime around. We got the second sometime around the 75th or 80th minute, and then we just piled the goals on. I mean, it got a little bit comical. Now, amazingly, we are only in second place in our group because Mexico beat the Salvador 6-0. So we are 1 point on goal differential behind Mexico. So tomorrow's game is a big deal because the top two from this group go into the classification stage, and then the top two teams from the classification stage or something like that go on to qualify for the World Cup. So it is kind of set up for the U.S. and Mexico to make it here because the winner of our group will go against the second place teams of the other two groups. The second place team in our group will go against the first place teams from the other two groups. I think we have a good shot at first place, but we got to beat Mexico tomorrow. And I should say, we beat Mexico tomorrow, we're getting first place in the group. But it's going to come down to
that. Yeah, I mean, it's, it could be at any level. Anytime we play Mexico, I want to see us win. So, but at the same time, anytime we play Mexico, I'm nervous beforehand. So, you said the game is on YouTube tomorrow?
On YouTube. It's on CONCACAF's YouTube channel and Univision Deportes.
Do you have to pay a bribe to watch CONCACAF's YouTube channel?
You don't have to, and by have to, I mean you do. It's just unclear to whom you have to pay it. It's got to be cash. It doesn't have to be strictly
Chuck
quiet.
Blazer, then it could be cats or food. But yeah, you just have to keep it covered up if you want to watch. Those yellow envelopes are fine. Just stuff a few bills in there, send it down to Trinidad and Tobago, and you're good. You can watch. Or Canada now, I guess. It's not being run out of Trinidad and Tobago anymore. It's Canadians.
I don't Leipzig. I don't know if Ebobisse is on the 17th or not. I don't remember who all's on there. Tim Weah scored for the U.S. Josh Sargent is their captain, another boy from the Lou. And beyond that, I can't think offhand of who the other guys are. I should know better, but it's like I see him, I go, oh yeah, that guy. But I can't remember who's on there.
What's left? Have we covered it?
And yes, Ricardo, we know what puto means. I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people say it, just to imitate, kind of like Olay or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, the debate is technically, as I understand it, it's a feminine male hooker, a feminine male prostitute. It's translation into English that the word is a word that I'm not going to use, but it's a lot more intense and hurtful toward a gay person in English. So that's the argument over whether it's a lot of Mexican fans will tell you it's not that. It's not as serious of a word as what a lot of gringos think, but other people say it's not. So I mean, I don't get worked up over stuff, but the point is, if it's hurting a lot of people's feelings, I don't know, maybe we don't do it anymore. I don't yell it. I also don't yell like there was a time when we all yelled "You suck, asshole" at the goal kicks. I didn't really do that either.
I kind of enjoyed that one. I still sometimes use it.
YSA.
Yeah, I get annoyed when it became we have to stop the YSA chant. I was like, oh, stop it. I actually got into a Twitter argument with Brian Strauss from SI over that one, over YSA, because I was like, why is it they're trying to stamp out YSA, but they're not trying to stamp out Puto? And he was like, well, what does Puto mean? I was like, you know what it means.
But I mean, I don't know. My heart's not in telling people to, not to say what they want to say at games. If you want to yell hurtful shit or whatever, yell it. But if somebody wants to come up and fight you then because you yelled it, you're going to yell racist bullshit at a game, do it. But if somebody wants to come up and fight you or get in your face, that's, you made your bed. So yell what you want. But I just,
if the goalie comes and like grabs you by the throat in the tunnel after the game,
I'm not going to get worked up over what you're yelling probably. But I also, like we said before, I think it's dumb to like scream and harass an individual player, or obviously,
depends on the individual player.
Yeah. There's a few that it's okay. Yeah. And that's Ricardo. I've heard that exact phrasing from Mexicans before, that it's saying you don't have the balls to do something. You don't have the balls to do this, which, if you said that's not, shouldn't be offensive. So there's degrees of, the way that people translate that word. And, on one hand, people are shouting it down and saying it's terrible. Some people don't care. Obviously FIFA now thinks it's a bad thing. Which, FIFA's a despicable organization. I don't know what role they have in telling people what's also bad or not. But
their president also told women that maybe if they wanted more people to watch the games, they should wear shorter shorts and tighter shirts. Like, yeah, maybe FIFA isn't the best judge of like what's okay. But yeah, speaking of, like, can you say things to individual players? If that individual player was Carlos Ruiz, I'm all for saying whatever the hell you want, including I'm going to murder you and then murdering him. And I don't care if he's not a player anymore and he's finally retired. I hate that guy.
Not a Carlos Ruiz guy, huh? Who would be... I think Diego Costa is my most hated player ever.
Really? Because I can think of one who probably trumps him.
Rafa Marquez.
I was just going to leave his name unsaid, but...
I don't know. I kind of feel like Marquez is more of a man than Diego Costa. I can make an argument for Marquez. I think Diego Costa is just out to hurt people, and
sometimes I hate you. Oh yeah, because Marquez has never tried to just hurt people. All the guys he's broken the legs of and things. Yeah, no.
We're talking about two people we hate, and whether one is one and one is two. Like I'm not saying I like Rafa Marquez, especially after Columbus, but I don't know that I hate him more than Costa.
Long before Columbus.
It added to it, though.
Oh, to me, it was just like, really? Why does it have to be him?
And I would say that's probably going to be our lasting image of him, because I don't think he's going to play for Mexico much longer. I mean, we'll see him in June at Azteca, but is he really going to make the World Cup team next year? Although this is one of those dudes that, like Carlos Ruiz, keeps on going. So you never know when he's going to stop. He's just going to keep on being there. Speaking of guys who are around a long time, and we talked about last week, things not looking so well for Cuauhtemoc Blanco.
Yeah.
Apparently he's the mayor of a city in Mexico, and some people think he ordered somebody to be assassinated, and now he thinks that people want to kill him.
What if he was just celebrating his victory and he went like this, but he kind of went like this while he was doing it, and they were like, he means to kill him. And that's what happened.
Maybe he should come back to Chicago till the heat dies down a little bit. Because that's not good for him. All right,
Adebayor. No, we don't like Adebayor.
He's up there on the list, though. He's definitely up there.
That guy is a douchebag. Like, to me, he's almost not worth hating, because he's one of those where it's like you hope he ruins everything, and then he ruins everything. So you're kind of like, well, he got what he deserved, so whatever. It's like he demands all these things, demands to play, but then he doesn't go get in shape or whatever, and so nobody plays him, and then they cut him, and he doesn't get paid, but he's still demanding all these things. So you're kind of like, well, I hope nobody ever signs you again, and then nobody signs him. So Adebayor to me is sort of like not worth hating. But yeah, no, we definitely don't like him. He is a douche.
All right, Ricardo, if you say Cuauhtemoc is innocent, I'm with you. I'll believe you. And so hopefully everything works out for him. I still have love in my heart from when he played for the Fire.
He was one I hated until, he
won us over.
He kind of won me over playing for the Fire, I got to admit. Because he was fun and seemed to understand what he was there for.
All right. I think the show has run its course, don't you?
Perhaps. John Brooks, possibly torn hip muscle. So he's out probably for their remaining games. Hopefully this is a quick recovery, and at least, it's unclear. It's still unclear how severe the damage is. They've said it could be a strain. There are people who are reporting it's a tear. A tear could put him out probably close until he might be coming back, getting in shape during the training camp for the qualifiers in June, or he could be back in 2 weeks. Who knows? I'm guessing, because it's tough for Hertha to finish higher than 5th. I'm guessing he's probably just going to be out the rest of the season. That, unless they truly think unless it's like truly a 1 week injury, they're probably just going to say, just go get better. Douglas, because there's no point in running the chance he gets hurt more.
Douglas says he's the Von Song Company of the U.S. He kind of is. He kind of is. Good defender when he's there. Bald dude. Always has a knock. Always has something wrong with him. So, all right. This is USfanTV. The website's USfanTV.com. We have Twitter. We have Facebook. We have Instagram. Go to those things and do the thing that you do on those sites that helps us out. All those are USfanTV. We hate Snapchat. I didn't say that in the last show. I just want to make that abundantly clear. We hate Snapchat, and we're not doing it. We have YouTube, but you know that because you're here. Subscribe if you haven't. A lot of you have. I know you guys have. You're great. Subscribe. Then you'll, get these videos sent to you. I don't know why you'd want that.
Because who wouldn't want that in their inbox?
Chris, do you have any final words?
Shining faces. Leipzig asked if we are Arsenal fans who hate Robin van Persie. I don't hate him.
I don't either.
I don't like that he went to Manchester United. That, to me, was kind of a dick move. Having said that, I totally agree with his reasoning for wanting to leave. And I think it should have been taken as a sign by more fans, more players, more people at the club when, he could have stayed. But he saw what was coming and said, I don't want to do this. Why should I put myself through this? I'm better than this, and I can go win someplace else.
I think he scored 2 of the 3 goals we saw in Cardiff, Wales when we went to the FA Cup semifinal.
I think you are correct.
The other one, I think, was Robert Pires in the 3-0 win over Blackburn.
Yeah.
Which had
Robbie Savage.
Brad Friedel was the starting goalie that day.
That's true. I forgot about that. Because I only think of Robbie Savage when I think of them, because I hated that guy so much because he was just such an asshole. He truly was a savage.
And RVP's header in the 2014 World Cup is still one of my favorite goals that's ever been scored.
That is one of the most amazing goals I've ever seen, I got to say. He also had, was it both the goals? When we came back to beat Manchester United in injury time in 2010, 11, something like that. We were down like 2 goals, came back in injury time. I think we were down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we came back and won that game. I think, did he score 2 of them? He might have had a hat trick in the game. I can't remember now. But anyway, yeah, that was also like, he's incredible. I can't knock the guy in that regard. I don't like that he went to Man U, but anyway, I guess that's enough.
Do you have final words? Were those your final words?
My final words are, you are done.
All right. See you guys Thursday. You are done.